Hello guys, welcome back to Purple Daffodils. From today onwards, we'll be taking another step of creating an English videos. I need your supports. Kindly do subscribe and leave your comments as well. So, our first lesson is about Malala. So, the autobiography I am Malala, especially the chapter A Daughter is Born. It is an autobiography by Malala Yousafzai. And as you know, Malala Yousafzai, she is from Pakistan. She is a Pakistani female education activist. She was born in July 12, 1997. And when she was 11 years old, she wrote a blog under the pseudonym Gul Make for BBC Urdu. When it was published online, it went viral because it talks about how the Pakistani Taliban occupied Swat Valley, and Swat is her hometown. How they suppressed the people of Swat, and especially how they deprived or suppressed the rights of the Yousafzai women education and children, women education, and how they treated the women in a bad way. These are the main ideas of her blog, and she advocated freedom and peace in among the people. And since this published and it gained a number of acknowledgement, this Taliban's know they cannot keep quiet since she talked very badly about them, and it targeted their reputation, right? So in 2012, a Taliban's gunsman he tried to assassinate Malala for her this activism, especially the blog that she wrote about how they suppressed the women in SWAT. But then she survived with serious injuries and taken to the hospital. But her father, he believed she cannot get enough medical treatment in Pakistan, so he transferred her to Britain, Queen Elizabeth Hospital, and there she went a number of surgeries and plastic surgeries, and that's how she survived and came back to life. And after that, she stayed in England and continued her secondary school education from 2013 to 2017, and she graduated from Lady Margaret Hall College from Oxford University. And because of her activism and her ideology about peace, freedom, and her boldness against this Taliban people's suppression, all these things made her a popular figure, and that um, gave her a Nobel Prize for Peace in 2014. She received her Nobel Prize for Peace in 2014 at the age of 17. The world's youngest Nobel Prize laureate, and she is the second Pakistani and first Pashtun to receive the Nobel Prize. And she is a daughter of the education activist Zaiduddin Yousafzai. Maybe that would have influenced her to raise her voice against the female oppression of Taliban's. And then this particular chapter, A Daughter is Born, is published in I Am Malala. It is the 36th chapter of the book, and the book whole of the book I Am Malala is published in the year 2013, October. And the major character that you can find in this particular chapters are Malala Yousafzai. As you know, she is the elite, and Zayaduddin Yousafzai, her father, and Tur Pikai, her mother, Kushal, her first brother, and Atal, her second brother, and Zegin Sher Khan Yousafzai, her father's cousin, Zanzir Khan, her maternal grandfather, Malalai of Maiwand, an phenomenal, significant character who is considered to be the heroine of Afghanistan who fought against British. And there is another character, that is Rahmat Shah Shayul of Peshawar. He is a poet who used to write more about Malala of Maiwand. And there are two more kings, Miangul Abdul Wadud and his son Miangul Abdul Haq Seginsa. And the whole of the chapter I have divided into few subtitles for your easy understanding. So these are the subtitles. The whole chapter is divided into Malala's birth, Malala of Maiwand, the Joan of Arc of the past tense, the Swat Valley, the existence of valley, her family, Yusufzai tribe, the rulers of the valley, and freedom. Okay, first subtitle is Malala's birth. See, when the chapter opens, Malala describes how her society or how her community is. And she says she is from a particular clan where uh, people consider women as a second class citizen. And they think they are only fit for cooking and giving birth to children, and they are not supposed to achieve more in their life, and they need not to learn anything to live a good life. That is what the mentality of her own clan. And she says she was born at the time of dawn, and the baby before Malala was still born, but Malala was fine and fit and fine. And she also says when she was born, her family was in a very poor condition. Her father, he couldn't even afford to pay hospital or even provide a midwife. So Malala's neighbors helped her mother to deliver Malala, and that is how Malala is born. And as I said earlier, Malala's clan is of such a thought that the girl child should be always ignored and they are considered second class citizen, right? So she also mentions that in her clan, when a boy is born, a boy child is born, then it is celebrated with gun firing. But when a girl is born in a family, then it is considered to be the gloomiest day of their life. And so, no one from her own community or her neighbors congratulated her father or her mother. But there came only one person, that is Zegensis Khan Yousafzai, her father's cousin. He came to congratulate Malala's father, and he gifted few gifts, and he also came with a family tree full of Yousafzai clan. And when they look at the family tree, it is fully covered with the name of male persons to show the line of their ancestors. But then, what Malala's father did, he drew a line under his name like a lollipop, and he wrote Malala. And his friends and family even laughed at him for his doing. But then Yousafzai, Zayaduddin Yousafzai, he believed there is something in Malala that uh, has significant importance to her. And he said, I know there is something different about this child. So that is why he wrote Malala's name, the very first girl name to be included in that family tree full of male names. Okay. And he also insisted his friends and relatives to throw dry fruits and sweets and coins into her cradle, which is usually done for the boys, because he believed Malala is one who is not compared to boys. She is above them and she will achieve great success in her life. That is why he made all his friends to do that, different from any other person in her own community. And then she moves on to the next idea, that is the significance of her name. uh, Malala might have got any other names, but why she is named as Malala? And there is a significance to the name, that is Malalai of Maiwand. This Malala, she is considered to be the heroine of Afghanistan, Joan of Arc of Pastons, which means she is a brave lady who never fears anything, sacrificing such kind of soul. Only that person's get to be titled as John of Arc. Okay, generally, John of Arc means the person who is brave, strong, and who sacrifices themselves for the goodwill of the society. Okay, so this particular person, Malala of Maiwand, she is considered to be such kind of person to the Afghanistan people. So this Malala, she is from a particular place called Maiwand. Okay, and this Malala of Maiwand story is read all over the Afghanistan. All the children, Pashtun children, learn about her. And why? What is the importance of this Malala? Because she is a woman who is considered to be the significant figure in the winning the war against second war against the British. And this Malala, she encouraged the people to fight against the Britain. Okay, this Malala, as I said, she was a daughter of a shepherd in Maiwand. She was in her teenage, and that time there came a war between Afghanistan and Britain, and her fiance and her father had to go for the war to fight against the Britain. And she, along with few other neighboring ladies, went to the same battlefield to tend the wounded and take them water. But when she went into the warfield, she witnesses the flag bearer. He is about to fell down. Uh, See, generally, when a flag bearer is about to fall down, then the country is declared to be defeated. She couldn't witness that thing. So, what she did, no, she went inside the battlefield, went into the center of the battlefield, waving her own dress, white dress, and then she uttered few words. Young love, if you do not fall in the battle of my one, then by God, someone is saving you as a symbol of same. So, which means she wanted her people to defeat Britain and come out successful and win the war. Do not bring shame to their own country. That is what she meant. So, when she uttered these words, the Britain, after this, they burned her alive in the battlefield. So, after her death, the Afghanistan soldiers, they decided to fight in a fierce way and to bring justice for the words of Malala of Maiwand. So they won the battle against the Britain. That is the second Anglo-Afghan war in 1880, and it is the very first war where the Britain lost. And she also, Malala also remembers a poet. His name is Rahmat Shah Shayul, and he's from Peshawar. He used to write more poetries about Malala of Maiwand, and Malala's father, he used to read all the poetries by this man, um, Rahmat Shah Shayul, to her when she was a child. And then she also, now we'll move on to the next subtitle, that is Swat Valley. Actually, the Swat Valley is a place where Malala come from. So that is her hometown. So when you enter into the Swat Valley, there is a signboard telling welcome to paradise. Sorry, there is a typo error, kindly ignore it. And she also says in this Swat Valley is a heavenly place, and in Swat Valley she was from a town called Mingora. And then she also says this Swat Valley is considered to be the Switzerland of East, and it is 100 miles from Pakistan's capital Islamabad. And in 1969, it became the part of Pakistan's northwest frontiers province. And she also says there is a a palace called White Palace, which is meant for the Queen of England, and it is in the Swat Valley, and it is built with the same white marble which is used to build the Taj Mahal. And the people from various country, even Pakistan, used to come to Swat Valley to enjoy their vacation. And then she also says, since she is from a town called Mingora, her home is in the place called Gulkata. Gulkata means place of flowers. But in olden days, this Gulkata was also called as Batkara. Batkara in the sense a place of Buddhist statue. And why it is called Buddhist statue? Because there were so many Buddhist monasteries in that area. We'll look into that in the next segment. So the next segment talk about the existence of valley. As I said, Malala belongs to Swat Valley, which is the most beautiful place in the world, and it is called as the Switzerland of East. And she says it is a kingdom, a heavenly kingdom of mountain, gushing waterfalls, crystal clear lake, and mountains like Hindu Kush mountains, Mountain Elm, and all those things. And then there comes the reason why they named it in the olden days, why Gulkada was named as Batkara. Batkara because the Buddhists came to Swat Valley in the 2nd century, and then the Buddhist king ruled the Swat Valley for more than 500 years. And then came the Islam in 7th century with the invasion of Sultan Muhammad of Ghazni. So that is how Islam came, and since since the Buddhist kings ruled Swat Valley for 500 years, so many remains of Buddhist statues all around the place, and that is why it is called as Batkara. And when it comes to the Boston's, their main important part of their culture is hospitality. And there are records that nearly 1,400 Buddhist monasteries were found on the banks of river Swat. And even her father wrote a poem about the place Batkara, and it is titled as The Relics of Batkara. And she also mentions the Alexander the Great to tell how he climbed up the Mount El to capture the star of Jupiter as a symbol of power, to show us how important the mountains of Swat Valley has in a scenario. And then the next segment of her essay is her family. So Kushal, her first brother, is named after her father's school, and his name is taken from the Pashtun hero Kushal Khan Katak. Same way how Malala's name is taken from Malala of Maiwand, Kushal name is taken from Kushal Khan Katak. And her second brother name is Atal, and he is 7 years junior to her. And then Malala talks about her father, who's different from other men in her tribe, as he treats his wife Turpikai in a good way rather than any other man in his community, because he is such a gentleman who gives equal importance to his wife and daughter and equal love and care to them. And he used to get inputs from Turpikai, and he used to discuss all the things that about his school and everything to Turpikai. So when Kushal was born, her father started a school. Even though they started a school, they were still in a very poor, living a very poor life. And that time, whenever they had something difficult, her father used to discuss everything with his wife and get input from her. But whereas the other men in the community, they think sharing something to a woman is considered to be a very disgraceful one, because they believe to women don't know anything, and why should we discuss anything from to her, and why should we get input from her. That is how the and then she talks about the marriage life of her parents. See, in Pashtun clan or in Yusufzai, there is no love marriage. There is only an arranged marriage. But her parents had an unconventional love marriage, and because uh, she says when her mother was from a different village and came to Swat and stayed just opposite to Zayaduddin's uncle's house. And Zayaduddin, he used to visit his uncle often, and that is how he met Turpikai. And he fell in love with her. They never shared many words, but they shared their ideas and love through letters and words and poems. And that is how their love started to grow. And when he was very confident that he wanted to marry Turpikai, he approached his father, but Zayaduddin's father, he was not okay with it. But then he sent a barber to make an alliance, a proposal. See, generally in pastoons, they have this tradition of sending to barbers to carry out marriage proposal. But then, when the marriage proposal was taken to Turpikai's father, he right away rejected it. And again, after some times, again the second proposal is being sent, but the second proposal is also rejected. So that time, this man Zayaduddin, he came to know about Turpikai's father Zanzid Khan. He had a group in where he used to discuss about politics, and even he named this Turpikai after hearing the name in the radio. That is how he is obsessed with radio and politics and all this. So he used to hear the news from radio, and he used to discuss about this politics things in his group. And this Zayaduddin, he joined in the group, and he stayed there for about 9 months, and he gradually convinced Zanzir Khan, and later after 9 months, Zanzir Khan accepted the proposal, and that is how their parents got. And then now she moves on to describing about her own tribal people, and who are they and where they come from and what is the history of Yusufzai tribe. So this Yusufzai tribe, that is the Malala Yousafzai, the family, they were from most people in Swat were from Yusufzai tribe, and actually their ancestors are from Kabul, and in 16th century they were from Kabul. In Kabul, no, there was one emperor, his name is Timurid emperor, and this emperor, he wanted to become a king, so he seeks the help of Yusufzai. So this people, the tribal people, they helped the emperor to become the king. And when the emperor became the king, ascended the throne, what he did, he gave all the higher position to the Yusufzai people. He doesn't have anything in his mind, but then his friends and relatives put some poisonous idea in his brain, stating that if you give all the powerful position to the Yusufzai, one fine day they will outthrow you and they will become the king for themselves. And when this idea was implemented in his mind, he wanted to do something and remove this entire Yusufzai tribe. So what he did is he um, made arranged a feast and invited all the chiefs of Yusufzai. And all the chiefs of Yusufzai were having their meal, he sent his members to massacre the people, Yusufzai tribe, and he massacred around 600 chiefs, and only two of them escaped from that mass massacre. When the two escaped, they went back to their tribal village and they took all the remaining tribal people and they went to Swat. But the original plan, or the whole reason for going to SWAT, is to seek help from the people in the SWAT and get back to Kabul and fight this Timurid empire. But then, when they came to SWAT, they were captivated by the beauty of SWAT Valley, and they decided to stay in the SWAT Valley thereafter. And then this Yusufzai, they had a peculiar type of following a wish system, which means all the land is divided among the male members of the tribe, and in which each member will handle a particular piece of land for 5 to 10 years, and then later on they swap the families to from one land to other. so that all of them will have a hand in all part of all kinds of land. And then, even though they were doing all these things, but the SWAT villages during that time, at the early time, were ruled by khans. So this common man, craftsman, and laborers, everyone paid uh, their rent to the khans. And then the khans, no, and different uh, clash between khans and Yusufzai. So this Yusufzai people, they wanted to make one sole representative for their own tribal people, and then they decided to make one ruler for them. So now we'll move on to the ruler of Valley. The Yusufzai people nominated a number of people to become the king of the valley, but then one representative of their tribe, but then none of them were quite effective. But later, this man, Minangul Abdul Wadud, he became the king of Swat in 1917. He was capable enough to suppress the conflict between the Khans and the Yusufzai. And he is the first king to build the primary school and the first one to set up first telephonic system in his village. And he entered this system of circulating the land or swapping of the land, because he believed this swap system will never let people to have a piece of land for their own, or never let the people to have their own home. So he is affectionately called as Bacha Shagib by the people. So later on, his son Miangul Abdul Haq Seginsa, he succeeded him and in became the king of Swat. And when he became the king, his period was considered to be the golden period of Swat Valley, because he brought so many schools, hospitals, and he built so many hospitals and roads. And he entered the tax system where all the people in Swat paying taxes to the cons. And in 1969, the Swat became the part of Pakistan's northwest frontiers province. So when Malala was born, the spot was already in the hand of Pakistan. That is why she mentions, even though she is born in Pakistan, she chose to recognize herself as SWAT person first, and secondly as a Pakistani person. Then we have reached the last part of the lesson here, the freedom, where she talks about how one can achieve freedom. Despite her family's poverty, Malala learned the power of language and overcome sexism. And with her father's guidance and determinations, she understands many things in SWAT, and she understands her culture and values. Because she believes, she says her mother used to pray 5 times a day, but she is not that much religious, and her mother used to love wearing ornaments and neat dress. But Malala is not like her. She is like her father, who prefer minimal clothing, minimal dressing style. And she used to think, her father used to tell her, encourage her to become a free bird. And she used to think how it is to be reaching the top of the Mount Elm like the Alexander the Great, and touch the Jupiter even beyond the valley, which means how being a woman or a female, how it is possible for anyone to reach beyond the borders, or reach beyond the boundaries, and lead a life of free bird, or lead life of freedom. That is what the vision of Malala at the end of the chapter. I hope you people understood. Like, share, and subscribe, and leave your comments as well. Thank you for patiently listening.